Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a great day. I just wanted to pop in here really quick and give a word that I got from the Lord last night. It's really short, but it's loaded. I was talking with my mom last night about the election coming up, and I just mentioned that, the Lord never really gives me any words about the election. I was like, that's fine. If he does, he does. If he doesn't, I'm not going to make it happen. I'm not going to push that. So we sat down to watch TV, and right as soon as we sat down and started watching our program, I started hearing this word. And I was like, okay, Mom, sorry, I've got to go do this real quick. So this is how this one goes. And I'm actually titling this one Checkmate. Okay. So here's how this one starts. I'm coming over this nation like a flood, like the flood waters that came over the earth in the time of Noah. I'm going to open up the heavens and flood this nation. This nation will be a gateway for all other nations. Everything that happens here in the spirit and in the natural will pour over into other nations. This election coming up. This farce of an election. The enemy thinks he has won already. He thinks that his candidate will take the election and fly because he has set things up to cheat. There's no amount of cheating that can beat me this time. Was I not aware of his schemes before? I was aware. But I allowed him to prosper in his schemes so that I could show my hand in this day. This is just the beginning of the failures that are going to come his way. Just watch as I move my hand across the board and knock him out. It will take no effort. Checkmate. Okay. And when he got to the end of that part there, I just kind of started laughing. And I was remembering how he had given me another word, just the last word that he'd given me about a kind of a chessboard. So I didn't really give it a lot of thought. And the fact that the word came so fast to me, and after just talking about this election, I was like, not sure. I was like, gosh, is this really from you, Lord? But this morning, I pulled the word out again and started thinking about it. And there was a couple of things that just really stood out to me that I didn't catch when the Lord first gave me this word. So the first thing that I thought about was the actual chess game. I don't really know anything about chess. All I know is that you want to capture the queen, and after you capture the queen, you say checkmate. And then it dawned on me. I was like, oh my gosh, capture the queen. What does that mean? And I was like, who is the prevailing queen in our country right now? Well, her name starts with a K. And I'm not going to say any further about that, but she's being touted right now and pushed to the front as this sort of savior type person, right? So she actually also kind of represents some other things in the spirit realm, having to do with the Baals and Jezebel. And I was like, oh my gosh. The queen. That's the checkmate. That's the queen he's going after. So I was like, okay, that's really cool, Lord. So then a little bit later in the day, he actually reminded me of this part where he said that he's coming over the nation like a flood, like the flood waters that came over the earth in the time of Noah. And of course, when he was first telling me this, I was like, well, he's talking about, spreading his spirit and all these things. But he was like saying to me, he said, what was happening in the time of Noah? And during Noah's time, and he was like, well, what is the reasoning why I caused the flood. And what was happening in Noah's day was the Nephilim and the giants, right? This is what Enoch basically did battle with leading up to Noah. Enoch, of course, was Noah's grandfather, I believe. Grandfather or great grandfather, I'm not quite sure. He prophesied the flood, and he also prophesied the coming of Christ. So Enoch was like a serious, serious prophet back in his day. But what led up to the flood were all the problems they were having with the Nephilim, the giants. And what is going on in our day right now? We're dealing with those Nephilim again. We're dealing with the giants again. Maybe not in a physical sense, but the same spirits behind those Nephilim are still in action today. And when God sent that flood in Noah's day, it was to wipe out those Nephilim and to wipe out all the sin that they were doing. They were destroying, they were ruining his creation. And he's going to do it again. He's going to wipe out these current Nephilim that are taking over certain people, being used to cause destruction and mayhem in our world. Okay, so that is pretty much all that I have. If you have any more insight about this, I would love to hear anything that you would have to add. Anybody, just go ahead and leave something in the comments. If there's something that comes to your mind or something, God brings up, I'd love to hear that. And of course, I will put a link to this in my description to go to my blog if you'd like to read it there in my blog. So y'all have a great day, and I will see you next time.